Have you ever felt tired, dizzy, or even nauseous? Just because someone told you that a certain medicine might have side effects, even though in reality the drug was completely harmless? If this has ever happened to you, chances are you've unknowingly experienced a real psychological phenomenon known as the Nocebo Effect. The Nocebo Effect is a strange but very real scientific occurrence, where negative beliefs in the mind can trigger physical reactions in the body, even when the external trigger is completely harmless. In other words, if you believe something will make you feel bad, it very well might, even if it has no actual power to harm you. Picture this. A person is told by their doctor that the pill they're taking might cause nausea. Just a few hours later, they start to feel dizzy and queasy. But what if that pill was nothing more than a sugar pill, with no active ingredients at all? What just happened? That's the Nocebo Effect, where the mind turns fear into physical reality. The scary part is, it's not just in your head. Hundreds of scientific studies around the world have confirmed that negative expectations can cause real measurable changes in the body, like a faster heart rate, elevated stress hormones, and even a weakened immune system. And that's also why sometimes we get sick, not because of a virus, but because we believe we are sick. In today's video, we'll explore how the Nocebo Effect works in your body and brain, real stories from both everyday life and medical research, and most importantly, how to stop poisoning yourself with your own thoughts. Because sometimes what you think is just a feeling is actually a reality created by your mind. The Nocebo Effect is a clear demonstration that the human mind doesn't just create emotions, it can also create illness. Dizziness, nausea, headaches, and rapid heartbeats can occur entirely due to thoughts without any physical cause. But how is this possible? When you believe something is harmful, your brain enters an alert state. The amygdala, the area of the brain that processes fear, starts sounding the alarm. The brain thinks you're in danger and activates the sympathetic nervous system. Your heart rate increases. Breathing becomes faster. Muscles tense and blood pressure rises. Your body prepares for fight or flight, even if in reality you're simply taking a sugar pill. This is called the biological effect of fear. When fear arises, the brain doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. It simply reacts to whatever you believe is happening. In a famous experiment, patients were given a placebo pill and were told it might cause a headache. The result: nearly 30% of participants actually experienced headaches, even though the pill was just a sugar tablet with no active ingredients. Have you ever noticed that when you're anxious, every sensation in your body feels more intense? A slight headache suddenly feels much worse. A little queasiness after lunch might be perceived as, nearly fainting. This happens because when you pay too much attention to your body, the brain amplifies nerve signals from your internal organs. At this point, the central nervous system no longer operates based on reality, but rather on your emotional interpretation of the sensations. This causes symptoms that seem imaginary to become very real, even measurable with medical devices. A man in the US nearly died after believing he had overdosed on antidepressant pills. He sweated, felt dizzy, had weak pulses, and his blood pressure dropped. But when the doctor checked, they found He had only taken a placebo pill used in a study. His belief was so strong that his body actually reacted as if he had overdosed. The nocebo effect is not just a feeling. It triggers measurable biochemical reactions in the body. Elevated cortisol, causing stress and immune suppression. Increased histamine, leading to rashes, itching, and allergic reactions. Released inflammatory cytokines, causing mild systemic inflammation, leading to prolonged fatigue. Reduced dopamine, causing feelings of depression and apathy. This means that simply believing you're harmed is enough for your body to react as if it really is. That's why careless words from doctors, family members, or the media can become a psychological poison if they spread fear. What the brain believes, the body will respond to. There are times when something that seems to only exist in the mind is stronger than any pill. When a person believes they are harmed, their body can make that belief come true. Here are undeniable examples of this strange effect. In 2007, a 26-year-old man in the US participated in an antidepressant trial. He was randomly assigned to the placebo group, though he didn't know this. After an argument with his girlfriend, he fell into despair and decided to swallow all 29 pills at once, thinking he would die. A few minutes later, he began sweating, breathing rapidly, feeling dizzy, and his blood pressure dropped to a dangerous 80/40. He was rushed to the ER. The doctors tried to stabilize him, but couldn't understand why, as the pills had no active ingredients. When the lead researcher arrived and said, "You didn't take real pills, those were just placebos." Just 15 minutes later, his blood pressure returned to normal. He was healthy again, as though nothing had happened. The belief in death activated his entire nervous system, making his body act as if it were in a life-threatening crisis. Only when that belief was erased did his brain stop running the self-destruct program. An elderly man in the UK was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer and was told he had only 3 months to live. His family was devastated, and he accepted his death. 3 months later, he died exactly as the doctor had predicted. However, what shocked both his family and the doctors was that during the autopsy, no signs of liver cancer were found. The initial diagnosis was wrong. His liver was completely healthy. The question arose, what did he die from? The chilling answer: he died because he believed he was going to die. The power of belief can destroy one's life force, weakening immunity and causing the body to give up on healing. The seemingly accidental words of the doctor became a poison pill. At a school in Tennessee, US, a student reported to a teacher that she smelled a strange chemical and felt dizzy. Within hours, over 100 students and teachers reported headaches, nausea, dizziness, and some even fainted. The school was evacuated, and authorities investigated the ventilation system, floors, and labs, but no toxins were found. In the end, the incident was concluded to be a community nocebo effect. One anxious student, others hear about it and begin to feel similarly. A chain reaction creating a pandemic without any physical cause. The human brain tends to scan the body when hearing about danger. A normal headache is interpreted as a sign of poisoning. Psychological contagion is like an invisible atmosphere, but it is stronger than any real virus. A group of researchers divided patients into 2 groups. Group A received a saline injection with no prior explanation. Group B also received the same saline injection, but were told, It may hurt a bit or cause discomfort. The results? Group B reported pain that was more than double, along with symptoms like muscle tension, rapid heartbeat, and anxiety. Group A showed almost no reaction. Fear can trigger the autonomic nervous system, causing the brain to generate a pain sensation that has nothing to do with the actual cause. Have you ever taken a medication and then felt your heart race or felt nauseous, only to realize that these symptoms were exactly like the side effects listed on the leaflet? This is nocebo from information. When you know too much about the risks, your mind starts searching for and activating those symptoms. Information that is not properly processed can become a psychological burden and trigger real physiological reactions. Sometimes, overwarning is the greatest danger. Throughout thousands of years of history, humans have learned to avoid the venom of snakes and scorpions, to avoid spoiled food, or to stay away from storms. However, we rarely learn how to protect ourselves from the toxins within our own minds. The Nocebo Effect is not just a trick of the brain, it serves as a reminder that the power to harm and the power to heal both lie within us. So, how can we avoid falling into this trap? Just as we avoid consuming contaminated food, we should also avoid feeding our minds with distressing or negative information. When reading a medication guide, don't focus on the list of side effects. Trust the reason you are taking it. When hearing someone describe symptoms, remember that everyone's body is different. When someone labels you as weak, prone to illness, or in danger, ask yourself, is this really me? Or am I being controlled by their beliefs? We can't prevent nocebo from appearing, but we can weaken it by living in an encouraging environment full of love and empathy. Surround yourself with positive people who motivate, not those who spread fear. Limit social media scrolling late at night when the mind is most vulnerable. Spend time meditating, breathing deeply, or writing down things you are grateful for to create inner balance. When feeling anxious about a symptom, instead of panicking, ask, is there clear evidence that something bad is happening? Could this be psychological? Have I heard of nocebo? If a friend were in my situation, what would I say to help them stay calm? Belief is not just an idea. It's a command that controls the entire nervous system, immune system, endocrine system. Believing in the body's ability to heal, believing that you will be okay, is not wishful thinking but a scientific therapy. Evidence has shown that optimistic people recover faster after surgery. People who laugh more are less likely to develop cardiovascular disease. People who love themselves are less likely to be attacked by chronic stress. Before stepping out into the chaotic world, give yourself a dose of mental vaccine. A positive affirmation, today I am strong. A healthy action, drink a warm glass of water, take a walk under the sun. A simple decision. Don't let fear dictate your choices. These are not miracles, but they are shields so that when nocebo appears, you can still move forward. If you can make your body feel pain just by believing in something negative, why not try believing in something good and see what miracles can happen?